everyone, and welcome back to another episode of One on One. I'm your host, Hannah Balkowski. Today, we are joined with Rebecca Petner, who graduated in 2010 and is an on air host and producer of her show, Studio 814. Rebecca, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thanks for having me, Hannah. I'm so excited to talk to you.
Me too. So let's jump right on in. So you're a producer and host on the lifestyle show Studio 814. What types of stories or segments do you produce on this show?
Great. So Studio 814, we're based in central Pennsylvania. So just like you guys in Philly, you're like the 215. 814 is our area code. So we cover 10 counties with all types of lifestyle news. So we're talking food, local restaurants, fashion, local boutiques, jewelry shops, and local events. So we really emphasize keeping it local. We understand, people could watch Ryan and Kelly or the Today Show, and we say, well, what can we offer? We can offer that local perspective. And a lot of people really like that, because we're featuring the people right here in our own community.
Yeah, for sure. I think that's great. Sometimes, you all these bigger shows, they all kind of cover the same thing, but local shows are like more unique, I think. So that's
Exactly. Yeah, and there's always a way to take something that might be a trending topic and localize it and, highlight those type of things too. So we get pets on the show from local shelters, help them find their forever homes. Get it?
oh yeah. For-
We it's really important for us to make a difference and keep things as local as possible. And
yeah.
also our show is kind of like a pay for play, so you can even pay to be on the show. So we deal with sales, our sales team here at WTAJ, and we're always working with clients, coming up with different pitches, fun ideas, how to make really compelling TV.
That's so cool. I've kind of been venturing into like, oh, I think it'd be really cool to be a producer and host. So when I like saw your, LinkedIn, I was like, wow, that's something I want to do. So what are some of your favorite stories that you've done or segments that you've produced?
Oh, that's a good one. So obviously during COVID, and I think we've learned the power of Zoom. Just like right now, I'm here in Altoona, Central PA, and you're in Philly,
Mhm.
and it just feels like a great conversation. So I have had the chance to talk to some celebs via Zoom. It was funny because when you said, let me remember to press record, I thought about my interview with Mario Lopez. And 99% of the time I press record. And for that one, I'm just like the control
Oh,
room, thankfully on his end was also running, like rolling on it. So I didn't lose it. But
oh my
yeah,
God.
could you imagine interviewing Mario Lopez and then going, oh, I never pressed the record on Zoom?
Yeah, that's
So that was, yeah, that was probably one of my worst days on the job, but he was a great interview. I got to talk to Jay Leno, Kevin Eubanks.
wow.
So of course the big names are fun, but then we also have just great people here in the community who is also a big name. Actually, the former Miss Pennsylvania was from Altoona.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so she came on the show. She performed her talent, which was baton twirling. And I'd love to get guests that are really interactive and performances. That's always fun
Yeah.
too. We've had an Irish band come on, even Jimmy Mowry. I feel like I'm just name dropping at this point. But he was on season 17 of The Voice.
Oh wow.
Yeah, but we also do, a lot of really great local community things that you wouldn't know were happening kind of without the show. Because
Yeah.
we cover 10 counties, but it can be within the span of more than 2 hours. So people will come from all over to talk about, different fairs, festivals. We've got someone coming on the show today to talk about her first ever sunflower festival at a farm in Patton. And it's just things like that that make you feel so good because you're bringing the community together and you're also highlighting some of what makes us the best. And that's what every local TV market wants to do is highlight
Right.
people that make them who they are.
Yeah, that's great. And I saw some clips of your show. I was like watching, and it's just so it looks so fun, and entertaining. And I'm like, you know what? LaSalle TV needs one of those shows.
So Hannah, I also will say, because it is a small, we're a small operation, but I say that we play big because I
Mhm.
worked in Philly behind the scenes. I used to work for NBC 10.
Right.
I was a production assistant, and also a floor director, a stage manager
Oh,
in the
wow.
studio. So I think that experience, having all that time working with some of, the best elite talent, really gave me the ability to take all of that knowledge, everything, even when you're just watching, seeing
Hmm.
different camera shots, or, oh, they put this live shot in this giant monitor. That's what I brought, even though Altoona is a smaller market, to Altoona. So it's
Right.
fun because I'm producing, which there was a little bit of a learning curve. But producing is great because I would tell anybody that is in broadcast and journalism, even if you just want to be on air talent, to learn to produce,
Hmm.
because it's a great thing to have under your belt. And it makes you understand even your live shot better.
Right.
How do I produce this up? What questions do I want to ask? Camera shots, different things you want to focus on to make things better than just a stagnant shot. So knowing that producing experiences, it's going to help you anywhere you go.
That's very true.
I know a lot of people are
Producing.
like, I don't want to produce, but I'm actually very happy that I made that transition. And, now I can say I'm a producer and a host.
Yeah. And speaking of that, since you are a producer and a host, what is a day in the life kind of like for you on both ends?
It's a lot. So basically, my co-anchor and myself, we hold down the fort to produce 4.5 hours of live TV every single week, 4 to 5. My day, surprisingly, a lot of people say, the hours in TV aren't that great. Mine is not that bad. So I get in at 9:30 a.m. and hop on the morning meeting at 9:45 so we can hear what's going on the news side. And we also will use, any of their reporters in the field, say they're covering something local and fun. We basically say we're the fun show. We're not, hey, we tried not to talk about COVID that much. We were surprised because during the pandemic, for Studio 814, we thought, are they going to switch the lifestyle show and make it news? And a lot of people were saying, no, people still need joy. People still need the happiness. So we kept going, with the Zoom interviews, and really just highlighting local organizations, and keeping people in the know. But we were saying, let's not talk about COVID if we don't have to,
Yeah.
because let's give people 1 hour a day where they don't need to think about COVID.
Mhm.
So that was important to us during the pandemic. But when I get in 9:30, hop on the morning meeting 9:45, and then pretty much get right into producing. So you want to stack out your show. We've got our blocks are A through G. So we've got like 7 blocks we fill in between commercial breaks. We do have weather, 3 weather hits that run about 1:30 to 2 minutes. Um, and depending on those guests, because we basically book guests on a rolling, a rolling booking of
Mhm.
every 2 weeks. So we're always talking to different people. So if you see a Facebook, you know, event that's happening, we just reach on out and we put them into our calendar. So if you
Right.
want to see, all this blue are our guests.
Oh my
And
gosh.
we share a Gmail account and all that. So what sometimes the show could have one guest on a day, and sometimes we can have, like today when we have 4 to 5 guests.
Wow.
So it's always, we have a generic, like a basic structure for the show, but you kind of don't know what's going to happen, and that's the
Yeah.
fun part of live TV, which is why I do love live TV so much.
Yeah. You never know. And that's exciting, I think,
Yeah, and we write all the scripts. I am always looking for trending entertainment stories, and then around 3:45, we head down to the studio, make sure our scripts are printed, and we're good to go. And then we go live at 4.
Wow. And how long is the show?
Show's 1 hour,
1
4
hour.
to
Okay.
5 p.m. It is Monday through Thursday, 4 to 5, and then on Friday it's a half hour, 4:30 to 5.
Okay.
And you can live stream it if you want.
Oh,
Type in WTAJ live stream in
there we
Google.
go. There's the plug.
But hey,
Perfect.
that's what you do. You'll notice
Yeah.
you're always hustling.
Yeah, you should be. And from the clips I've seen of your show, everyone should watch it. It's really funny. Like
Well,
you guys are so, I don't know, it's like I don't know, what's that show? The Drew Barrymore show. I'm getting that energy when I watch the clips.
well, so it's kind of interesting because I wasn't on air until I was 30. And a lot of people start right out of college, but I was still not sure, and I knew I did not really want to be a hard news reporter. I
Hmm.
I just there was something where I just was thinking, I don't imagine myself at 5 a.m. standing in front of a fire doing it justice or enjoying it enough, to share those types of stories with
Hmm.
the community. But the lifestyle is really my personality all the time. So it wasn't very hard to get into that. But I already said, I was like, I don't want a fake anchor voice. I want to be myself. Well, when you're older, you kind of know who you are more. So it's
Hmm.
that transition when I think getting into TV a little later actually helped me in this case.
Yeah.
But I will say it's definitely a plunge, you move away, you don't know anybody, and you're gonna work really hard, but it's definitely gonna be worth it.
Yeah, definitely. And so you talked about how you did behind the camera kind of work as floor director. What was that experience like, and how is that different from what you're doing right now?
Um, I think it's helped me immensely, surprisingly, with my producing experience because just knowing it's almost as though you know all the moving parts to the show. So a lot of times, if you're just on air, you may not realize what's going on in the control room or in the booth. But when I was a floor director, I was basically the only person in the studio with the people on Channel 10, NBC 10. And I worked a lot of mornings. So it was basically me, Viseka Hema, Tracy Davidson, and Bill Henley. So I would have my rundown. So I was telling, the meteorologist when his hit's coming up. Because especially early in the mornings, they're still working on their weather, their
Yeah.
forecast. They go on air at 4 in the morning. That's so early. I think there's even a cut in at I want to say 3:45 in the morning or something.
Oh
Yes,
my
a
gosh.
1 minute live cut in. But you kind of become like the queen of observation because you're realizing if your talent needs help and they can't really say it because they're on
Hmm.
air,
Right.
and their mic might be
Right.
hot. So there's a lot, and then also I timed a lot of cut-ins. So I could hear the director in my ear and I knew what cameras, I would tell the talent what cameras to be looking at. And if any changes were made on the fly, telling people when to walk, because there's a lot of walking shots,
Hmm.
which stories when to walk on and things like that. So
Wow.
it's a huge trust thing, especially
Yeah.
in a top 5 market. They have to feel as though, okay, this person is telling me the right camera, the right positioning, and if a story gets killed, a lot of things
Hmm.
do go into making that a clean, that's what we call it. When the show has no mistakes, it's clean. Making it a clean
Wow.
production. And also, surprisingly for myself, working with the people on air in such, I would say, an elite market gave me more confidence too. Because I was thinking, oh, maybe I'm not made for TV, you know,
Hmm.
especially because I do think, I don't look like everybody else, or I didn't sound like everyone else, especially being plus size, where's that representation? So there's
Hmm.
always those thoughts, especially when you're younger and you question yourself. And what I want to say is just do it. Don't question yourself, go for it. What would be 2 years in a TV market? You'd get a lot of experience, learn what you like, what you don't like, and just put yourself out there. And you'll never be looking back going, "Oh, what if I had tried?" You know? So it was actually my interaction with some of the most amazing people that were on TV at NBC 10. During commercial breaks, I was doing my own little show. So they would do their show, and then during commercial breaks, I was, entertaining kind of. And they're like, "Rebecca, what are you doing behind the camera? Like, you need to be here." And then I went to LinkedIn and I looked up a job for a lifestyle host. And it ended up being that the main evening anchor had been a former production assistant at NBC 10.
Oh my gosh.
Yes,
Small world. Wow.
and she was a Jersey girl like me, Amanda Kenny. Oh, and then I asked around at NBC 10 to my contacts. I said, "Does anyone remember, Amanda Kenny?" And someone did, reached out on my behalf through Facebook. We spoke on the phone, and I
Wow.
getting an interview, and here I am. So
Connections.
yes, and it's so true. Just put yourself out there. Of course, be polite, respectful, not
Mhm.
pushy, but you still have to show that you want it because the
Yeah.
industry is tough.
Yeah. I've been experiencing that. It's very like, very competitive, but everyone I've talked to has been saying like, as long as you work hard, people will notice and things like that. So that's very good advice.
Yeah, you definitely want to stand out. And I guess if I was to think of my time at LaSalle, you like they always said you want to intern, do an
Mhm.
internship. And you're sitting in class and you're thinking, okay, how's that going to help me? But it does, because you really don't realize, not even the people that are there in that moment, but that gave me the ability to have a connection, with another person
Mhm.
that had maybe interned there before. So you really
Yeah.
don't know who you'll know.
Exactly.
Cool. Yeah.
So speaking of your time at LaSalle, you were part of LaSalle TV. What was that experience like, and how do you think it helped you get to where you are today?
I'm just smiling so much because my show now is called Studio 814, and my show on LaSalle TV was called The Studio. Yeah, who could have imagined that? I worked with my really good friend Kaylee Rahanzi now. She got married. And then Eric Donovan, he was my co-host. Just such great memories. Um, I would say that it did help me prepare for just even getting into production, TV, anything. Because when I first graduated, I didn't get a job right at NBC 10. I was even doing some freelance work with like the Romero Center in
Mhm.
Camden, teaching them how to do some videos, working with them. So that was really cool. I mean, just knowing the skills, just be a sponge. Like that time at LaSalle, I it helps you to cultivate your personality, who you are. Do you like being on air? Do you want to be behind the scenes? Like that's the time you're gonna have um, moments of being in a real studio. You're going to be on a real set, and Tanya is going to be like a real news director. So those are real, kind of the closest to some real life experience. And if you have that at your fingertips, and also what a great way to network and just make moments with, the LaSalle community too.
Mhm.
It was fun. I actually, one time I went to the Rite Aid near LaSalle and somebody asked for my autograph and said they watched my show. I was like,
Oh my gosh.
"What, on LaSalle TV?" It was cool.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. We had someone part of it last year. They got like a fan mail or something. Like,
Hey, it's the little things like that. And that's going to happen when you make it to, an actual TV market. So,
right. So I
yeah.
guess the last thing I want to ask is you've already given lots of great advice, but what are some other pieces of advice you have for students who are interested in communication?
Mm, good question. I would say try to learn a little bit of everything, because with my journey, I knew that I had the personality, but at the same time as I didn't just get here because of personality. You have to be able to write. Writing is a huge thing. So if you can get involved with the paper, writing scripts. Also, obviously, with social media, you have the ability at such a young age now. Like, I can't even imagine when I graduated back in 2010 having what you guys have at your fingertips. So you can even start building, you can just do your name, and start building content that if that's where you want to go, if you want to do maybe something more lifestyle or feature, make a recipe. Go on TikTok or Insta and use social media in that way too. And then I think it helps you when you are in the actual job market, when people see, oh, they've got followers. They are always pumping out content. People are interested in them. They like this person. These are all things that are going to help you if you want to be in broadcast. And that's probably especially if you want to be on air, because it's going to show, but also even as a producer, because you're coming up with ideas and that's what they want to see. Take the chance, be creative, and honestly, hard work goes a long way. They want you to, when you're at that internship, say, how can I help? What do you need me to do? A lot of times I think, I remember even being a little intimidated. I was what, 18 in a big top 4 news market, and you've never seen anything like that. There's an assignment desk filled with 4 people listening to scanners. Everyone's calling the police and trying to get updates on stuff, and say, hey, do you need me to make a call? You want to be making an impression. And I think people will remember that. And obviously, take a different class. If you think you want to do broadcast, but you're not sure about PR, do it. That's the time in your undergrad to really cultivate different ideas that might interest you. It's not ever going to hurt you to gain experience in something else. And
Right.
yeah, that's really did help, because I mean, I have a minor in history. Do I use it that often? No, but being able to talk on a little bit of everything, that can get you a job. Radio, TV, podcasting now, just like I said, creating the content,
Yeah.
producing, it's all
There's
there.
there's lots of things. And that's the great thing about LaSalle. I think they give you the opportunity to like explore those different avenues of
Yeah.
communication. So
Something I definitely love too. I don't know, are the class sizes in the comm center still pretty small?
it depends on the class, but yeah, they're not huge.
Yeah, I always like that because you really get to do a lot of hands-on experience and work with different people and make projects,
Mhm.
come to life. So I have to give a little shout out. I did love Professor Goodcoop. He retired though.
Oh, okay, I was
I
like,
was I think it was communication ethics.
oh, okay.
Yeah, great course.
But
So
that, yeah, I think I'm registered for that one, but I'm not sure.
I like it. So Hannah, what do you want to do?
See, I'm still trying to figure it out, but I do like being, on air and I do like producing. So I'm gonna be we have like a entertainment news show and I'm gonna be the producer and host of that for LaSalle this coming year.
Is it still called Backstage Pass?
Yes.
Wow, that's cool.
Yeah, so we, my co-host and we're like really good friends and we've started a TikTok and all this stuff. So
Oh, what is the handle?
I think it's just Backstage Pass LTV. I'm
I'm
not
gonna
sure.
have to give you a follow.
It's
Seriously, I'm
really
just working on my TikTok too.
TikToks are fun, like once
It
you
is
get
fun.
into it. I've
It's
made Tanya do some stuff. So if you want to see her do some stuff on there,
like some dancing.
no, she's done like trends with me.
Oh,
like
that's
like
fun.
audio trends. It's really funny.
That is cool. Um, that sounds awesome. You have one more year, so you can do anything you put your mind to. And I think that everybody needs to realize you can have different parts of your career. You're not just getting in a job and staying there for the rest of your life. I think that
Yeah.
that's kind of what my journey shows. You can you can pivot, and a
Mhm.
lot of what you learn on the job and in school, I mean, those are all transferable skills. So
Right.
you just have to realize oh, I can do this. And also what people don't realize is the job does teach you. You
Hmm.
know, you don't have to be an expert producer, but if you know how to write, that's going to help you so much down the line. Because then
Yeah.
when, you know, I was a strong writer, and then when I got into producing, it was it was it was more like the formatting you had to learn,
Hmm.
and how to do it, but I already had the basics. So
Yeah, that's great. Well, thank you so much for joining us today. It was really great getting to know you and hearing all about your journey.
thanks, Hannah. And if anybody wants to give the show a follow on Facebook, it's the Studio 814, and I'm at Rebecca Petner TV, or just Rebecca Petner. So thanks, Hannah. This was so great. Good luck with everything. And I just love this. I love
Yeah.
LaSalle.
Well, that's it for this episode of One on One. I'm your host, Hannah Balkowski, and we'll see you next time.